Paul Tucker says CoinTool has been working for the past few hours, only loading. Has been working or has not been working? CoinTool is working on my side. Some people are saying it is and it isn't. It could be a browser issue. It could be a lot of different things. But that's why it's important to know the manual mints. What were you going to say?
Yeah, so I stopped using CoinTools as soon as Xen. A lot of people use CoinTools to do batch minting for Xen. So I stopped using it as soon as he came out with the NFTs that let you do the same exact thing. Because for this exact reason, you don't know how long CoinTools is going to last. In fact, CoinTools on their own page was like, in case our website shuts down, this is how you can get your Xen. And they're giving instructions of how to get your Xen off of CoinTools if CoinTools stops working. So
yeah, and for anybody that's listening, if you have batch minted on CoinTools, you need to go there immediately, and you need to download those instructions, and you need to keep them in a place where you can remember them, because those instructions, they work. I did a video following those instructions, and I manually entered batch mints. They work. So if you're worried about this, get those instructions. Not financial advice, but I mean, kind of, right? Because you want your money. I mean,
right.
So Hexagon says, for me, V3 is huge. RH says will run for a very short time. So bullish, yes. Stack your favorite coins. Hexagon, I couldn't agree with you more, except for I want a Monday morning quarterback that, which is we heard this same thing last May when V2B was out. And they said, oh, it's only going to be a couple of weeks, probably the end of May. And then the whole thing got scuttled. They went away from the Binance and went to the Ethereum 2 or Ethereum proof of stake. Now, it's not like they're going to scuttle Ethereum proof of stake because there's no other version to go to. But just the quickest way to be unhappy is to have unrealistic expectations. So as I was talking to Benito about earlier, part of the reason why I've pulled back on my PulseChain and PulseX content is because I don't want to be the guy that's building unrealistic expectations in other people's minds. So this type of thing, like, yeah, it's great to be excited, but also have the opposite side of the outcome in your mind at all times. Like, yeah, V3 might come out soon and PulseChain might come out soon after that, but it also might not come out until next year. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but as long as you're balanced on both sides of the expectation table, you won't be too anxious about the whole situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even, to be honest, there's not that much new news coming out about PulseChain on it. Besides V3, there's not that much new to talk about. It's the same things that we've been talking about for about 2 years now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, because since they did move over to the Ethereum ETH2, we'll call it for lack of better terms, the proof of stake delegation, I think, has changed a little bit. I haven't watched all the videos, but I don't think it's truly deflationary anymore. I think it is inflationary, unless, of course, utilization makes it deflationary. That's one change. So there are some things that change, but to the average investor, which is 90% of the people, they don't even know what that stuff means, and it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not.
The only thing that matters is number go up.
Numbers go up. So what's happening on PulseChain that is going to equal number go up? Well, just look at what's happening on Ethereum. We're not even in the bull run. Gas rates are already really high relative to what they are, and they're just going to continue to creep up. And PulseChain is going to help with that as a true, not even side chain, but almost like a better version of the original. Mark G says there is no delegation, so that might be something that changed as well. Maybe you don't delegate to validators anymore. I need to talk to probably Jake Sharp to learn more about that. But one question I know that you had that you wanted to discuss is PulseX versus PulseChain. Which one's going to do better? Which is the best strategy early on? Which is the best strategy long term? I know you've made some videos on this, so what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I made some videos on it. I think that at the very beginning, PulseChain is going to do a lot better. Like when the chain is released, when a snapshot happens, PulseChain is going to do a lot better. That's literally just because a lot of people didn't get into PulseChain. They didn't hear about it. So then when they saw that people, I think it was like 600 million people, $600 million was invested into PulseChain. People bum rushed into the next thing PulseX, and PulseX has like almost $1 billion that was invested in it. So because of that, a lot of people just got PulseX simply in order to hold the economic value, and then they're therefore going to put that into a PulseChain when it's released. So I would say for the first week or two, maybe the first month, PulseChain is going to go all the way up, and then PulseX might go down relatively. But then after a month, things are going to stabilize. And then eventually with the buy and burn of PulseX is going to slowly rise higher and higher as time moves on.
Do you think PulseX does better in the first bull run and PulseChain does better in the long term? Do you think that, yeah, I'm just looking at, because it's cyclical. So the first cycle going into the next bull run is going to be different than the next cycle. So, yeah, there's a lot of talk about what you just said. Everybody's going to be dumping their PulseX for PulseChain. What if that doesn't happen? What if it's the opposite? Because you got people like K4K out there. I don't know if you've seen any of his videos, but all he talks about is PulseX. And Jake Sharp is, a lot of these people are a lot more bullish on PulseX because of the burn function and all of the deflationary aspects of PulseX and the single-sided liquidity and the staking and the single-sided staking and just like all of the fundamentals for PulseX. Let's play a little game. Let's play a game of what if the exact opposite happens, because there's a kind of a rule of thumb in life. When everybody thinks one thing is going to happen, you can almost guarantee the opposite is going to happen. Too much energy is put into this one thing. So what happens when/if people dump PulseChain for PulseX? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, that'll be definitely interesting. But I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, mainly because both of the tokens are so interconnected that it's not really that hard to exchange one another. You can literally go on the PulseX website and exchange one for the other for minimum cost. So when people see that the price of PulseX is going up and up, it'll get more popular, and PulseChain will lose its popularity, and then people will go into that. And then eventually the pendulum will then swing back again to PulseChain and then swing back and forth if PulseX starts increasing its value so high. And also the buy and burn definitely helps the burn functionality, but I don't think it's going to help that much at the very beginning. I don't think so, because the whole PulseChain PulseX ecosystem won't be popular enough for people to do that many transactions to therefore increase the burning rate. So maybe the bull run, that's in, what is that, 2029? Maybe that one, PulseX will have way higher of a value. But this one is coming up, I don't think so. They'll be very closely related in price. I think maybe PulseChain will have a slight edge.
That's interesting. It's one of those things where I used to do a lot of videos speculating on price and stuff like that. And it's like nowadays I'm like, nah, not even worth it. Because
it doesn't matter.
The amount of variables is infinite.
Yes.
Literally infinite. Because you have all these new coins. You've got, we don't know what's going to happen on Ethereum. We don't know what's going to happen on other chains. Is there going to be a mass exodus from those chains to PulseChain? If that's the case, then PulseX could skyrocket because all of that DEX traffic comes to PulseX, and therefore the buy and burn is catalyzed and drives the price. Is it kind of, I don't want to say like a soft launch, but just, it's a trickle effect. People slowly come over. Then perhaps PulseChain does better than PulseX because the PulseX does need the volume of trades for its fundamentals to go. So it's like, this is why I don't even think about it anymore. It's just like, you know what I'm going to do? Sit back and watch. I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to trade both of my bags. I'm fortunate. I'm very, very pleased with my position. Obviously, hindsight, I wish I would have bought more of everything. But the fact that I was able to get into PulseChain on day one, the fact that I was able to get into PulseX, those two bags, those are stored off in the closet somewhere in the deep storage, and they're not going to get touched.
Right.
Because I don't want to make a mistake. I hear all these people talking about, ratio trading, and I'm going to swap this for that. And usually the busier you are, the less productive you are.
Right.
So I